Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to Stampin' Saturday. This is the day of the week when I play with some products we have in the store that either are new or you guys have already purchased and might need some inspiration for using. And today I'm showing you a new product. It's not new to the crafting world, but it's new to the store and it's new to me actually. I was doing some Bible journaling and not in my Bible, in my journal, and I wanted to do some embossing of my own handwriting. And I didn't have anything to do it with, so I started looking and I found these Embossing Pins. They're super cool. Again, not new to the crafting world, but new for me in the store. And I thought, you know what, these are super cool. Then I started playing with them doing something else and I was like, I gotta show you guys how this works. So these pins, you get a clear one and a black one. And what's so cool about that is if you wanna write in the black so you can see it and then emboss it with your color, that's really cool. Especially if you wanna write in black and then emboss in clear. Looks good. We'll get to the black one another day, but today I wanna show you the clear pin. Super cool. All right, to start with, I'm gonna stamp an image and I'm using the truck from the Memory Lane stamp set. It is sold out. It is a Christmas set or a seasonal set, and they only come back seasonally. But I'm talking to Vince about that. A lot of you guys are wanting certain stamp sets back all year, so we may be bringing some of those back, so I'll let you know. But I'm going to stamp this truck here, and I tend to stamp this one a couple of times because the first time it's a little pale, and I like it to be a little darker. So that's one main reason I'm using my Misty tool, because I love to be able to do this. And I'm using Memento ink because I'm going to color it. A lot of you guys ask me which ink, Memento, for coloring with alcohol markers. It doesn't smear, it works really well. So I'm going to ink that one more time. Perfect. Now, earlier I inked one here and then I turned this guy around and I inked another one, and then I went to my scan and cut and I let it cut them out for me so I didn't have to do that. So these guys are ready to go. So I just wanted to show you what I was doing or how the process starts, and now we're going to move to the second step, and that is coloring. Now, I probably would have colored these and then cut them out, but because I didn't want to have to cut away in the video, we're doing it like this. I'm going to use a piece of scrap paper. I'll put this behind it, just one at a time. Matter of fact, I'll move this one out of the way because we may just work on this one. And I'm going to color it. Another item that's fairly new in the store are these Spectrum Noir markers. These are the Colorista markers, and I got to show you this colorway. Look how pretty that colorway is. I love it. The cool thing about these is they come in a color family, so you can see how it's used right there, and you don't have to kind of guess which colors will work together. They're not blenders. They will blend because they're alcohol, but they're not made for you to take them out of the package and be able to blend them together perfectly. They're more made for them to be a good family of colors. And I'm going to color the majority of this truck in maple. So like the body of it, the cab, things like that. Let me tell you how this came about. I was getting ready for some classes that I'm going to be teaching in Gatlinburg at a retreat called Stamp Escape. I'll put a link to that below. Our class information stuff will be up hopefully Monday or Tuesday on that site. So if you're interested in taking any of our classes, they're working on getting that up. But I was working on a card that was actually a background technique that I'm going to be doing. And I was coloring this truck to go on that background. Well, as I was coloring, when I finished, I was like, I really wish this truck had some pizzazz, some shine or some dazzle or something. But I didn't want it to be glitter, and I didn't have any glossy accents. So, you know, like necessity, right, is the mother of invention. So instead of digging out anything that had to dry, that had to sit there, that's another thing. I do not like to use things that have to sit and dry overnight or sit, you know, and hope I don't sit something in it or on it. So I thought, what can I do? And I remembered I'd gotten those pins. So I went and got the clear one and I tested this out and it worked just fine. So what I'm going to do real quick is use these colors all together on this truck, and then we're going to use those pins. The other cool thing about these colors, how they come in this little family of colors, is you don't have to guess, does this color match this color? You can just sit that little set of colors aside and know whatever you pick up is going to work. I also think if you're a person that's into camo, I think you could take this set. This is Colorista number 5. I think you could take this set and make a camo pattern using these colors because I think they are perfect for camo colors. That's why I thought about them for this truck, because how manly is that, right? So let me get this guy colored and then I'll show you the next trick. Now the only other thing I did was I brought one color from my Spectrum Noir kit, and it's this light gray color, and I did the windows in this lighter gray. You could do like a pale blue. I just thought this would look kind of good because the colors that I used. I'm not shading or highlighting anything. That's what the clear is going to do for us because we're not having to do any of that work here. And these markers, the Coloristas, have a thick nib and then a fine nib, so you can get into really tiny spots with it. So that's cool. So you have a bigger nib and a tiny nib. So one more thing I did is take a Sharpie, and I'm going to color the edges of this so that it looks like a nice, perfectly straight cut on my white cardstock. If you have a black Spectrum Noir, that'll certainly work too. My issue is I lost my black Spectrum Noir quite some time ago, and so I've been using a Sharpie ever since. So here we go. I've not tried blending it with the Spectrum Noirs, but to do this part, I just use my Sharpie for it since I have it. Here's a tip for this. Come from the back side of your project, because if the tip of your marker slips like that and comes back here, it won't hurt anything. It won't hurt the art that you've worked on. But if it slips in the front, you got another problem. So make sure you're working with the colored side facing away from the marker. So if the paper was to slip and you do like that, that mark goes on the back and not the front. This is what really changes the look of these die cut pieces, any die cut piece. If you're doing this with something you even use like a die cut in your Cuttlebug machine, even if you do this, it really changes the look. Okay, so now I'm going to use my embossing buddy. I've colored this guy and he's dry. He shouldn't be an issue, but I'm just going to pat him with this embossing buddy just to be sure that I don't have any liquid or any like wet marker left over, so that I don't get any embossing powder where I don't want it. Then I'm going to take this embossing pin, and this is where it gets fun. Anywhere you want there to be a shine or a gloss, you color it. So like the glass, I want this to have a shine. So I'm going to color that in. Now you want to make sure you're not missing any spots. You're coloring in clear. So you want to get in there so you can see real good. And putting that powder on kind of helps because you can kind of see the liquid of the marker as it colors on. So I'm going to color in there. I want this toolbox to be shiny. I think that'll look good. Coloring that in. And then everywhere there is green, I want it to shine as well. So I'm going to color all of that. And I even found that after I did this, if I didn't color it perfectly, I could go back and do the spots I missed. So that was kind of cool. I really think this is a neat product. Kind of wish I'd have known about it forever. I did have one of these markers way back in the day, but I never really used it, and I just kind of had this mindset that it wouldn't work or that it would be difficult to use, and it's just not. It's super easy to use. I'm going to do the bumper. I want it to be shiny, and the center of the wheels, I want them to shine like hubcaps would. Okay, so I think I've colored in everything I want to be shiny. If I didn't, I can go back and do it. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way just for a second. So I'm going to bring over this paper, and I want to show you, this is like paper packaging from one of my paper packs, and it's slick on the back, and I want to show you something I did. I took this slick paper and I put some powder tool on it, and then I poured my embossing powder over this, and I've been using this as my embossing sheet forever. I've not had to throw a piece of paper away or anything. I'm just using it over and over again. It's kind of a slick paper, so it seems to work. All right, so now I'm going to take this little guy and some clear embossing powder. I'm using the Nuvo. This is the clear Nuvo embossing powder, really pretty. I'm going to pick this guy up with my tweezers, and then I'm just going to sprinkle my Nuvo on. And I'm just going to cover the whole thing. It won't matter because I'm going to use it, I'm going to sprinkle it right back into the jar. So do that, and then I'm going to tap it off. And I want to see if you can see, do you see how everything kind of went matte? Everywhere where I had that marker kind of went matte, and now we're going to heat set that. Isn't that awesome? Now check this out. So I put that powder buddy on here, right? So when I do this and I slide this in, virtually every bit of it comes off. Like, I know it's hard for you to see, but virtually all of it comes off. And then I can just take it to my trash can, tap the difference, and I can reuse this over and over. I even used glitter embossing on it the other day, and it comes right off. Now, if I were going to do this again, I probably would color it on my paper and emboss it still on the paper before I cut it out. I think that would help you with warping, but we've done it this way now, so we're going to keep going. This is my heat tool. We also have these in the store, by the way. I'm going to heat this up and let it get good and hot before I take it to the embossing powder. So check this out. Look at the shine right where we wanted it and not where we didn't. So it gives this truck some dimension. Now, I'm going to try to zoom in. I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but let me see if I bring it up to the screen if you can see it. There is a little spot right here that I missed, okay? So I'm going to take this little marker. I'm going to color back over that spot. I'm going to go back to my embossing paper, or my, what is it, embossing catcher, and then sprinkle some more on, just in that spot where I missed it. Tap that away, and now you'll see where it's at, see that? And then I can heat emboss that and level it all back out. So now you can see our truck is embossed and shiny, the hubcaps, the fender wells. I just think this is really cool. Can you imagine doing this with like flowers? This is what I think would be so cool. If you colored flowers and then you did the embossing pin on the tips and used the clear to make it look like water, like dewdrops. Oh, give me a break. We need to try that too. I think that'll be cool. All right, so he's ready to go on a card face. So I'm going to use a piece of gray cardstock as my card base. I think that'll be pretty on here. I'm going to score it at 5.5. And then fold it in there and crease that down with the bone folder. I played around with an idea the other day and I came up with this, which I was trying to make the look of tile floor. I was in my kitchen and I was like, wonder if I can mimic that. This didn't do exactly what I want and I'm still working on that, but I still think this worked out cool enough to be the front of our card. So I'm going to glue this down here. If you want to see how I did this, it's pretty simple and I'll be happy to share it with you. I just don't know if it's something you guys would like to see since it was kind of a fail, but I'm still going to use it. So I'm going to turn it into not a fail. It's very manly looking. It almost looks like tweed. It almost looks like suit tweed when you're right up on it. It's kind of neat looking. All right, so there is that. And now I'm going to pop this truck up here. I think I'm going to do this one. I may even do it sideways. Let's see. Oh, I like that, like that. I think we'll go like that. And then I'm going to put a banner here with a sentiment. So I'm going to use a sentiment that says life is better with you in it. And I don't have the perfect color cardstock I need, but this manila tag, this is one of those tags from, I'm not exactly sure. I just have it in my stash, but it's just a tag. And the color is perfect for what I want to go with the truck. So I'm just going to ink up this sentiment. So this sentiment is from Just Wanted You to Know stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it right here. I'm being very gentle because my tag was kind of lifted. Didn't want to make too big of a mess. Just like that. It says life is better with you in it. And then I'm going to trim it down and turn it into a banner for the card. So I'm just going to take my little snips and snip up the middle here. And then from each corner to it, just to make a little flag end there. Perfect. And I love these guys. If you haven't seen these are the new Tim Holtz mini snips. Love them. They have this little piece that protects the top, the little blade there, and I think they are super, super cute. All right, let's put this truck on with some dimensional foam. Because it is an embossed piece and I'm putting it on an unlevel surface, I'm using a lot more foam squares than I normally would. But this will keep it nice and flat because sometimes you get some warping whenever you emboss. Just happens. You can kind of work a good bit of it out, but some of it kind of stays. Even have this tiny piece for the bumper to keep it level. So I'll place the truck up here, kind of on one of those lines. I think that's kind of neat. I love how that truck turns out. That's so neat. I can't imagine how many different ways we can do that. Look at that. Looks so lifelike. I like it. So this little flag piece, I'm just going to glue it straight down to the card. Just somewhere here. I think this will be neat coming out of here. Yep, I like that. So simple, but a lot of fun, and some techniques on there that were fun too. Don't forget in the comments below, if you want to see how I did this background, let me know. We'll do a video of that one. I think it was super fun. Look how much light that catches. Super neat. So I'm glad I picked these guys up. I think they're pretty cool. You will probably see me using this in my heart journal because I think this will be cool to be able to write some letters, anything I want, and then emboss it in the clear to get that look. Or even write in clear. Don't forget you can do that too and emboss it in any color. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching Stampin' Saturday today. Hope you enjoyed this one, and until next time, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.